welcome to the first video. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about flexibility and something called altered reciprocal inhibition. So what is flexibility? The National Academy of Sports Medicine defines flexibility as the ability to move a joint through its complete range of motion. Now, this can be influenced through a number of factors, including age, sex, and physical activity. What we're here to discuss today is what happens when one of those muscles is too tight. Okay, maybe not that tight, but let's take a look at how muscles work. The most important thing to remember is that muscles always pull, they never push. They do this by shortening their fibers, bringing their ends closer together. Now, muscles work together. We call these groups of muscles working together a force couple. One muscle in particular, for a certain movement, we call the prime mover. You can think of that as kind of being the leader of the movement. Other, usually smaller muscles are likely to help the prime mover accomplish whatever work it's trying to do. We call those muscles synergists. And lastly, on the opposite side of whatever movement we're trying to do is the antagonist. It does the exact opposite of the prime mover, but in doing so, it stabilizes the movement and helps us to reverse the movement. For example, if I'm looking at my arm, my bicep is the prime mover to bend my arm or put it into flexion. My tricep on the back is on the opposite of my bicep, and it is what causes the opposite movement, or extension. If I didn't have my tricep to counteract my bicep's movement, my bicep would stay flexed all the time. It would always be under tension. With my tricep, I can slowly increase the flexion, and I can reverse it into extension. So what does this have to do with flexibility? Well, when a prime mover contracts, its opposite, or its antagonist, automatically relaxes. This is called reciprocal inhibition. If one muscle is too tense all the time and is always under that tension, its opposite, or its antagonist, may relax without you needing it to. When that happens, it's called altered reciprocal inhibition, and that's a problem. When the delicate balance in our muscle that lets us do work is disrupted, work doesn't stop. We're always asking our muscles to do things. We're always asking them to pick things up, walk around, whatever it is, some of us more than others. But when that's disrupted, other muscles are going to take up the call. If I have a prime mover who's being turned off because of tension in an antagonist, what happens when I ask that prime mover to work? Well, it's turned off, so it's not going to do its job fully. But the synergists around it, or the smaller muscles that are meant to help the prime mover, are going to take up that amount of labor. This is a problem on a number of factors. First of all, synergists aren't meant to do the brunt of the labor. So they're going to grow tired more easily, and they're going to be more prone to injury after a long time. Another issue is that synergists don't always pull exactly the way your prime mover does. Therefore, if a synergist takes over doing the work, we end up with accommodations in muscle movement. That can change the way that your muscle flexes around a joint. Instead of coming straight up, for example, my arm could come up at an angle. Eventually, that can stress our joints and can make us more prone to injury, as well as not being effective at exercising a prime mover. So really, you can think of altered reciprocal inhibition like a job site. where the boss locks himself in his office and doesn't want to do anything, while the synergists or the workers do all of the work. And that one guy in the office is really tense and angry about it and making it harder on everybody else. One common time that we see this is when asking someone to do a squat with their arms over their head. When we do a squat, our knees should stay straight forward, and so should our toes. If our knees turn in or our toes begin to turn out, that can be a sign that some muscles are too tight, while others need to be engaged more. So what do you do to prevent this altered reciprocal inhibition? To make sure that all of your muscles are working the way that they should be? You stretch. Static stretching is the kind of stretching that we most often think of when we think about flexibility. That can be a sitting toe touch, or any other exercise that is static or still and has a stretch. For optimal stretching, you should hold each stretch for 30 seconds until the muscle relaxes. Along with stretching, you can also exercise the prime mover that's relaxed. By targeting certain muscle groups and by stretching those that are too tight, you can improve your alignment, your posture, and the way you work out. Thanks for watching. If you liked my video, please click like or subscribe, thumbs up me, and leave me a comment telling me what kind of information you would like to see in the future. Bye!